What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Michael here from FudgeMuppet, bringing you the Fallout build you've all been waiting for, the Pirate. You guys asked for it and we made it, so don't forget to leave your comments down below regarding what you want to see next. Also, as always, we do announce our builds on Snapchat first, so if you do want to see what the next build is before everyone else, go follow both Scott and myself. Link is in the description. Adventure, charm, booze, and caps is what the Pirate is all about, and if this sounds good to you, you'll be pleased to know there's also cannonballs, swords, and fancy hats. A playthrough with the Pirate will involve lots of exploration, and you'll want to act very opportunistic when it comes to making personal gain. You'll form powerful alliances and you'll be a good person when you need to be, however you'll still have a greedy side to you and always ask for more when your help is needed most. We definitely didn't want this character to be the kind of guy who just kills people for fun, but at the same time we wanted him to be a bit merciless and very tactical when it comes to helping others and gaining power. When he's not seducing women or drinking himself silly, the Pirate will be annihilating his enemies with a barrage of cannonballs followed by flurries of steel. This character has high strength and uses melee weapons and heavy guns, and he'll also have plenty of carry weight as a result for all the looting he'll do to make money and build settlements. A playthrough with the Pirate is perfect for anyone seeking a fun, over-the-top cinematic experience with the ability to enjoy the multiple features Fallout has to offer. Your swashbuckling voyage will have you excelling in combat, in speech, in settlement building, money making, and of course, drinking. Our Pirate build video won't be showcasing power armor usage, however, if you decide you want to use power armor for your Pirate, you can. As usual, we've put timestamps in the description so you can navigate throughout this video in case you want to go back to a section to remember information. With that said, let's find out who the Pirate was before he emerged into the wasteland. The Pirate was born on the east coast of Boston and was raised in a home located directly above a pizza restaurant. This shop was owned by his uncle and was successful enough to provide his family, including his mother, auntie, and other uncle, with a reasonable salary. The Pirate was a pretty mischievous kid and always loved to play in the small outdoors area behind the building. He would often dress up in various outfits and loved to parade around with various branches and sticks he'd pretend were weapons. As he grew old enough to work in the shop, he was forced into becoming a waiter. He didn't mind doing this at first, however, as time went by, it became increasingly draining. That said, he loved his family and he was brought up with very strong family values. He was happy to help out, he just wished he could help by doing something else. The restaurant had an amazing view of the sea, and the Pirate often found himself daydreaming on the job as he gazed out at the blue horizon. He would spend a lot of time out there on the weekends with his uncle, and he was taught how to catch fish and how to use the boat. His uncle was an expert fisherman, and it was one of his hobbies he would just never shut up about. The Pirate was similar to his uncle in many ways. He got average results at school, he loved to sleep around with different girls, and he loved to compete in swimming. The Pirate was the best at swimming regardless of what school he attended, and he could hold his breath longer than anyone he knew. He sounds like a decent guy, but the Pirate also enjoyed other liquids as well. He often found himself having a bit too much alcohol a bit too frequently, and he occasionally dabbled with drugs on the side. He even sold some too while attending parties to make more money. He was always looking for some coin and a thrill, and as much as he loved his family and wanted to support them, he really just wanted to experience something more with his life. This desire became stronger the more he waited without taking action, and eventually it became too much and the Pirate joined the Navy. He said goodbye to his family, gave them a sum of money he'd saved up, and then left to be stationed on board a large battleship. The Pirate thoroughly enjoyed his time at sea, and he was able to experience many new places, meet a variety of people with different backgrounds, and learn a variety of unique skills. He was able to spend time around what he loved the most, the sea, and at the same time gained that sense of adventure he'd always been craving. He was paid well enough too, which was great, and over the next few years, the Pirate developed greatly both mentally and physically. After a successful career with the Navy, the Pirate service came to an end, and as much as he wanted to stick with his current lifestyle, he just felt it had been too long and needed to visit his family. After arriving home and reuniting with his uncle and family, the Pirate decided to work a few shifts to help out like old times. It was at this point he met his future wife, one of the restaurant's customers. He was her charming waiter and delivered impeccable service as he asked her about herself and told her of his recent journeys. The two got on really well, details were exchanged, and after a year of bonding, the two settled down with a house and got married. Eventually, the couple had a child together and lived peacefully until October 23rd, when the war became too intense and the bombs began to fall. Now we'll take a look at the faction choices of the pirate. If you don't want to know what factions exist in the game, you can skip this section using the timestamps. However, I will keep big quest and faction storylines very vague. Leaving the vault he was rushed into within his pre-war life, the pirate hurries into the wasteland looking for Sean. He'll be very upset that he's lost him, but at the same time he'll be experiencing a lot of other emotions such as excitement and confusion. The entire land that he lived on has been transformed, and he will be eager to discover it all over again. Searching for his son, the pirate soon discovers the Minutemen, and being in a strange new world with no one to help him, he decides to assist them to gain some allies. As he helps the Minutemen grow their influence over the wasteland, he will gain a sense of achievement from what he has already accomplished, and he definitely enjoys being put in a position of power. He can be the general of the Minutemen, run the Commonwealth, and live out all his pre-war fantasies of exploration and an unpredictable lifestyle once again. This, however, was going to be a lot more dangerous and perhaps a lot more fun than the Navy was. As the pirate tries to hunt down Kellogg as he continues his search for Sean, he soon discovers the railroad. He finds this faction pretty weird, however they definitely have useful information and resources that can help. The pirate decides to use his faction for everything they can offer, and will eventually get the ballistic weave modification for his outfit. That said, he's not so fond of their cause. He finds it very strange and decides to uncover the Institute with the help of the Minutemen. The pirate will ultimately side with the Minutemen. He only uses the railroad to get him closer to Sean and also to get him a very useful mod. The pirate will help the Minutemen greatly with everything they need, and this will let him explore, get loot, get caps, and build a new life successfully filled with all the alcohol, adventure, and fun he needs. This character will also never lose his appetite for women. The pirate plunders his way into the wasteland with 8 strength, 1 perception, 5 endurance, 7 charisma, 5 intelligence, 1 agility, and 1 luck. The special book in Sanctuary will be used on strength, making it 9, and because we allocate a perk point into the strength stat early on, we'll actually end up with 11 strength after finding the bobblehead. This is obviously great for melee damage, and the pirate will want to track down all the special bobbleheads when he can. As always, you can find links in the description to guides we made on how to get everything we say you'll need for this build. 8 strength represents the muscle that the pirate built up, often lifting weights during his time in the Navy, and this will help him majorly with his melee damage. 5 endurance showcases his high level of fitness, which was mainly developed by swimming, and this will of course give us a solid amount of health. Endurance will be increased over time too, which is great for most builds. 7 charisma showcases the pirate's ability to make money and charm, and it's going to help us with buying and selling prices, building settlements, and persuasion. 5 intelligence will allow him to level at a respectable speed and obviously reflects his intellect, and when it comes to everything else such as perception, there isn't really much to boast about. Now let's dive into the perk choices of the pirate. We'll go through all the perks up to level 50, and do keep in mind that you can change our perk choices to suit your preference. This is simply what we wanted to do for our ultimate pirate character. So straight off the plank, we're investing 1 perk point into the strength stat, which makes it 10 after you've used the special book on it. This will give the pirate extremely high strength starting out and ensures that we can make it 11 later with the bobblehead. Following this, we're going to be getting big leagues for 20% more melee damage, and it's best to focus on melee early on as we won't have broadsider yet, and simply having less perks due to our lower level, we can't have many ranks of the heavy gunner perk to use. Basically what I'm saying is take advantage of your crazy high strength. At level 4, the swordsmanship of the pirate continues to advance with the rooted perk. Now while standing still, this build will deal 25% more melee damage, and he'll have plus 25 damage resistance. This is a great perk to have for almost any melee build, and I strongly recommend watching the video we made on rooted so you can learn how to use it best. At levels 5 and 6, we're going to double tap the Fortune Finder perk, and this will ensure that plenty of caps are found throughout your playthrough. Obviously, acquiring riches is something the pirate aspires to, so the more caps, the better. Next up, we have the second rank of big leagues, making us deal 40% more melee damage and have a chance to disarm our target, and then we're going with the essential perk, Party Boy. Well, it's not really needed for survival, it's more essential for overkill. The first rank, however, will only keep you safe from alcoholic addiction. It's the second rank that has the overkill. Following this, we get the first rank of Blacksmith, so we can start working towards crafting the best sword possible, and finally at level 10, the pirate will be getting Aqua Boy. He's always been a great swimmer, and like any pirate, he should be prepared for any time he finds himself thrown into the blue. With the first rank of Aqua Boy, the pirate will not take any radiation damage from swimming, and he'll also be able to breathe underwater. At level 11, we're going to get the first rank of Armor, which we're going to use to ballistic weave our coat and upgrade any earlier game armor with, and at levels 12 and 13, we're getting the Heavy Gunner perk. With 2 ranks of this, heavy guns like our cannon broadsider will cause 40% more damage to targets and will also have improved hipfire accuracy. Following this, the pirate gets the first rank of Gun Nut, and this is the only rank he'll ever need. This will be used to upgrade Broadsider fully, allowing you to answer that age-old question, would it be fun to walk around and shoot people with a portable naval cannon? Yes, it would. At level 15, we're getting the third rank of Big Leagues to deal 60% more melee damage and have a bigger chance of disarming our opponent, and then at level 16, it's time for the Game Changer, Party Boy 2. This doubles the effects of alcohol, which will be particularly useful for any brews which increase strength and or charisma. More about that in the gear section. Next up, we get the second rank of Blacksmith, and this will allow us to make our revolutionary sword serrated. Over the following 3 levels, we're actually going to hit up some stat allocation, and at levels 18 and 19 we're choosing Endurance, and at level 20 we're getting Intelligence. Having 2 more points of Endurance is going to do wonders for our health, especially later on, and Intelligence is of course going to help us level faster. Intelligence will also give us access to the Chemist perk, which we'll be getting later. These boosts represent the pirate becoming hardier and thinking smarter in the wasteland, as he now exists in a more dangerous and taxing environment than ever before. Knowing that we're going to be doing a lot of chems later on, we start preparing for this now. At levels 21 and 22, the pirate will get both ranks of chem resistant, entirely eliminating the possibility of him getting addicted to chems. We're then getting the second, and in my opinion, the best rank of Rooted, and this is seriously one of the best perk ranks that exists in Fallout 4. Now, while standing still, you will do 50% more melee damage and have plus 50 damage resistance. Following this, we're going a step closer to finishing off the Armor perk, getting Armor 2 at level 24 and Armor 3 at level 25. As I said, this is used almost entirely for Ballistic Weave, definitely a great investment for any character who isn't using armor. Next up, we're getting the third rank of Heavy Gunner, making Broadsider dish out 60% more damage and have even better hipfire accuracy. Speaking of Broadsider, after you complete the quest to get it, you can make the USS Constitution your own player home. I won't be mentioning this in the settlement section as it obviously isn't a usable settlement, but be sure to store some gear and spend some time here if you want to. At level 27, we're getting the 4th rank of Big Leagues, and at this rank, not only will the pirate deal 80% more damage with his trusty sword, but he'll also be able to hit multiple targets in one swipe. If you go and watch our Mechanist Armor Is It Worth It video, you'll see at the very start you can take out heaps of people in a really cinematic style. I end up killing 3 people during one finisher move. Once you've reached this stage in the game, it's finally time to start taking things up a notch with some potent chems. You're going to want the Intelligence Bobblehead, and the first 2 ranks of Chemist will be chosen over levels 28 and 29. With 2 ranks, the pirate's chems will last twice as long. It's a very powerful perk, especially later on once you've obtained all 4 ranks. Finally, at level 30, we're getting the 3rd rank of Fortune Finder to find even more caps around the wasteland so we can continue making some nice bank as we progress into later levels of the game. Progressing through the 30s, the pirate is going to get 2 ranks of the Cap Collector perk over levels 31 and 32. You've mastered the art of the deal. Now buying and selling prices at vendors are much better than before. Following this, we get the 3rd rank of Chemist to make chems last 150% longer, and after that we get both ranks of the Local Leader perk. This is definitely something we wanted to get later on in the Pirates playthrough, and as many of you know, it's going to help with settlement building majorly. The 1st rank allows you to establish supply lines between your settlements, and the 2nd rank allows you to build stores and workstations there. This will be quite fun for a pirate build, but we'll discuss that more in the settlement section. Next up is the 4th rank of Heavy Gunner, and this is where I believe this perk starts getting really powerful. The pirate will now do 80% more damage with heavy guns, and very importantly, he'll have a chance to stagger his opponents. This is great for Broadsider, especially if you find you need to reload but haven't yet killed your enemy. It also stops enemies from shooting at you while you shoot them to pieces. Following this, we're getting 2 more points of endurance, taking our endurance to 10 if you have the bobblehead, making this pirate an absolute tank. At level 39, we get the final rank of armor to max out our ballistic weave coat modification, and at level 40, we get the final rank of fortune finder. Now the pirate will find even more bottle caps in containers, and there's also a chance of enemies exploding into a shower of caps when he kills them. This is great for getting more caps in general, but it also manages to fit in with the pirate theme really well. I can't exactly pinpoint why, and you may or may not agree, but for me, it just does. By now, you'll definitely want to have collected the Endurance Bobblehead because we're going to be getting the first rank of the solar-powered perk. We're not going to be getting any of the other ranks, but the first is certainly a massive help. What it does is give you +2 strength and +2 endurance between the daylight hours of 6 AM and 6 PM. This will give us more health and more melee damage, and it can even fit in with roleplaying too. Have the rationalization that the pirate is used to feeling invigorated outdoors in the sun from his time in the Navy. Following this is the final rank of Big Leagues, and this is another one of those perk ranks that is powerful and fun. The pirate will now cause double damage with melee weapons and have a chance to cripple his target or grand slam his opponent's head clean off. Next up, we're getting Rooted 3, and this rank gives the pirate a chance to disarm enemies that use melee weapons against him. This comes in handy often enough, and it represents the swordsmanship the pirate has developed over time by using his sword. Obviously, at this point, the pirate is at a higher level, and what this means is that enemies will become tougher. One common threat you see more often later on is explosive turrets, but the severity of this threat can be reduced through the adamantium skeleton perk. With one rank, the pirate will take 30% less limb damage. Next, the final rank of chemist is chosen, and now chems will last 200% longer. This will allow you to use jet and other chems for extended periods of time, making combat easier and also look more epic. Following this, we get another rank of Adamantium Skeleton to make the pirate take 60% less limb damage. And then we're going to get Heavy Gunner 5. Heavy Gunner 5 is a simple rank, and it will simply make heavy guns do double damage. We then max out Adamantium Skeleton to completely remove limb damage, and then the pirate unlocks the final rank of Cap Collector. Now he'll be able to invest a total of 500 caps in a store to raise its buying capacity, and this is really useful later on if you want to focus more on settlement building and generating caps. Finishing off with perks, the pirate actually ends on Blacksmith 3. The third rank of Blacksmith isn't actually necessary for the sword we picked for the pirate, however we wanted to get it anyway for 2 reasons. The first reason is that you may decide you want to use and upgrade a different melee weapon, and the second reason is that we want this character to have the ability to use and upgrade a new, better weapon that is released later on when new DLC such as Far Harbor finally arrives. The endgame special stats for the pirate are 11 strength, 2 perception, 10 endurance, 8 charisma, 7 intelligence, 2 agility, and 2 luck. Remember that this doesn't include gear, but it does include all those special bobbleheads you'll want to collect. Gear for the pirate is pretty easy to explain. At the start of the game, you'll use whatever melee weapon you can find until you get yourself a revolutionary sword, and you'll want to wear standard clothing and armor such as leather over the top of something pirate looking like long johns. You could use a minigun before you get broadsider, however because you won't have many perks early on, you may as well just stick with melee to take advantage of your high strength stat. Once you've made your way to Good Neighbor, you'll be able to get Hancock as a companion, and you're going to take his hat and coat. The coat is called the Red Frock Coat, which gives you +1 charisma, and the hat is called the Tricorn Hat, which also gives you a point of charisma. You can roleplay that Hancock made a bet with the pirate regarding whether or not he could touch his toes after drinking 6 dirty wastelanders. The pirate obviously proved him wrong. This is going to be your outfit for the entire game, and having that total +2 charisma is going to be great for persuasion and buying and selling prices. You'll also be able to use ballistic weave with the coat, which will actually make it useful when it comes to resistances instead of just looking really cool. Broadsider will be your endgame heavy gun, and if you don't know how to get it, we've got a link in the description to the guide we created for it. Broadsider is the trademark weapon of the pirate, and once you've got this cannon, you're going to want to upgrade it fully. This allows you to shoot multiple cannonballs before having to reload, and it's extremely fun to use in combination with jet. Speaking of things which are fun with jet, you'll also want to make your revolutionary sword serrated, which makes it do a lot more damage. If you want to use the legendary Shemdrown sword, which does radiation damage, you definitely can. Your sword is going to be majorly aided by alcohol and the second rank of the Party Boy perk. This will make your alcohol effects doubled, so if you drink whiskey, you'll get a massive +4 bonus to strength. You can also use alcohol to boost up your charisma before you go on a selling spree. Just remember not to turn in quests while you're under the influence, as your intelligence stat will be quite depleted and you won't get much XP. Our favorite concoction to create is actually called the Dirty Wastelander, and this will give you +6 strength due to the Party Boy perk. To create this, you'll need to combine a mutt fruit, 1 Nuka-Cola, and 2 bottles of whiskey at a cooking station. Remember, the pirate will also be crafting and using chems in his playstyle. Jet is the preferred choice for the crazy slow motion, which also seems to help you defy gravity, and you can create more advanced versions such as Buff Jet and Psycho Jet to give you an extra edge when it comes to damage. When it comes to companions, we've found 2 of the best choices to be Hancock and Kate. Hancock doesn't take life too seriously, he's good at heart, and he's definitely on board for chems and adventure. You will have to find him a cool outfit or some armor though. Kate is also a decent companion choice, especially if you're looking for romance. She loves her liquor, and she's one of the rougher wasteland types who will enjoy spending time with the pirate. Remember, these companions are just our recommendations. You can travel with or romance whoever you desire. When it comes to settlement building, the pirate will prefer to build upon places with a view of the water. Coastal Cottage and Spectacle Island are perfect areas, and you'll want to connect all your settlements together and set up stores that you can sell your loot at. The pirate will want to ensure freedom for all settlers so they don't live in fear, but at the same time he understands that by protecting them, he can get free labor to set up financial infrastructure with. And that wraps up another Fallout 4 build on FudgeMuppet, the pirate. Thanks so much for tuning in, and be sure to share this video on social media and subscribe for more FudgeMuppet goodness. Be sure to click the like button if you enjoyed the pirate, and leave a comment below with your feedback or ideas for a future build. It's been Michael with the pirate, and I look forward to nerding out with you all again very soon.